Hmm. Okay, just getting this thing fired up. Right, we've got things fired up. Excellent. Welcome, welcome. My name is Keith Hampton, and I'd like to thank you folks for tuning in to my live podcast or broadcast. My name is Keith Hampton, and I am a very pleased or very happy customer of an organization called BitcoinTAF.com, or rather BitcoinTrendandForecast.com. BitcoinTAF.com was an organization that I came upon about 8 or 9 years ago when I was looking for information in the cryptocurrency space. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to understand it more. I wanted to be able to invest in it and be able to see what was going to happen in the future and be able to participate. And it has been a wonderful journey. Through the works of Marius and Wendy Landman and the entire team, it has been quite a journey. These folks are amazing. If you want to know more, I would highly recommend that. And by the way, if you'll notice in the background here, winter is upon us here in my my part of the world, if you want a better word. So, getting back to BitcoinTAF.com, this is the website that I recommend you all go to. And you know what? You can sign up for free and explore all the different things they have to offer because this organization is all about coaching, consulting, training, education, analysis of the cryptocurrency space. And that's so valuable today because we need to know where we are and where we're going. And folks, I believe truly that the three major industries that are going to change the world as we know it is coming at us like a freight train, and we need to get ahead of it. So the more that you can educate yourself in this, the better off and more successful you will be in the coming trends that are going to happen. The industry of blockchain technology tied in with artificial intelligence and robotics is truly going to change the world as we know it. And we need to be prepared for that. So I highly recommend that you take a look at the cryptocurrency space and try to understand it. And there's many ways that you can do that. There is so much here for you to get started. For example, if you're looking at long-term reports. You want to be able to invest in the cryptocurrency space like you would invest in high-quality companies in the stock market. You need to know which coins are the better ones to invest in and to know when to get in, when to be getting out, and how to increase your value on those, increasing the long-term projections on that. So if you're interested in long-term reports, I highly recommend that you look seriously at the long-term reports on Bitcoin, as well as we scroll down further. I highly, highly recommend the Elliott Wave reports on all the altcoins. That's where I do most of my trading and investing is in the altcoin space because I believe that market's been suppressed for quite some time. I think they're trying to shake us out of that market. They're using every tool possible. And when you start understanding why and getting the information from Marius Landman as to what's really going on in that space, you'll really get a better understanding as to when to be laddering in into those markets when everybody else is probably running for the hills. Because we are going to have a very interesting year next year, and you need to know when to be positioning yourselves for that time frame. And there's lots of information that Marius does. Marius uses unique algorithms that he's developed over his lifetime to be able to predict future events. And he's done that in the oil and gas industry with the drilling and completion side of things. And he's done it in the stock markets, political elections, and he's even doing it now in the cryptocurrency space. So that's the power of this. This is using his training and insights over many, many years, along with really good training and sound technical analysis that we also work with. So again, if you're looking at getting more education and training, then I highly recommend that you start by looking at these education courses. You really need to get the foundation. And when you understand this stuff, you can just move your trading and success to a whole new level. And for example, this ultimate day trading course is, in my opinion, the best in the world. It is the ultimate trading course. When you take that course and complete it, it's like getting a PhD at a university level. You will be able to be your own analyst. You'll be able to trade any market, whether it's stock markets, commodities, Forex, crypto. That's the power of this type of training and education. And all of the work that you see here is amazing because not only these courses are foundationally phenomenal, but you get handheld, you get weekly calls with the trainers and educators, you get PDF reports, you get videos, training videos that you can go over and over again, and these are so invaluable. So there's something here for everybody. If you just want to follow other traders, we have two other groups. We have the Day Trade Masters, which do short-term trading. We even have the hodl nuts, people that do very, very short-term trading, almost scalping. And we have the medium-term reports trading that does more 30 to 90 day type trades. So there's something here for everybody, depending on what you want. Now, one of the unique tools that I like to share with everybody is that Wendy Lemon has developed a amazing tool called the HODL Fire Indicator that you can do for trading on the cryptocurrency space. And how it works is that it finds momentum, pivot tops and pivot bottoms in a coin, and you can be able to trade that when you can see the momentums. So I'm going to show all this to you. For example, let's start off with Bitcoin. I think this is a good place to start. Now, you're looking at a chart where we've got candles here on 3 days. Each candle is 3 days. And if you notice that we come a long way from 2023 to the present, we've had quite a ride for Bitcoin. It has never been a straight line. It has had lots of lumps and bumps in it. And here we are at the top today. Now, what's interesting, what you're looking at on that chart, is all of this was predicted by Marius Landman over 2 years ago. So we knew exactly all of these different happenings that you see presently in the marketplace. So the question today is where we're at and where are we going? You know, literally, we need to know what's going to happen in the future. And there is so many people out there that are giving misinformation. There's a lot of people talking about, oh, this little pullback is just a shakeout. It's just going to recover and take off up to the top. There's other people saying, yeah, we're in a real no man's land zone. It's just going to flop around and go sideways. And we've got others that are predicting that this is going to keep on trending down. And the question I have is, which one's correct? Where are we ultimately going? And that's the $1 million question. And that's where we get the answers from Marius Landman and his long-term Bitcoin and altcoin reports. We know exactly what's happening in these zones. We know where it's going, and we can take advantage of it. And we can strategize our altcoin investments in relationship to this as well. So that is the power of long-term investing. If you know where we're at and where we're going, you can trade it very, very profitably. But I mentioned another tool we have for short-term trading called the HODL Fire Indicator that Wendy Landman developed. And it's really unique because what it tries to do is it's showing, let me just edit this for a moment just so you can see what I'm looking at here. Just bear with me. So what we're looking at is we're looking at momentum. Where are we for pivot bottoms and pivot tops? And when we know those things, we can try and take advantage of the trends of what's happening. So I am looking for pivot bottoms, but I'd like to get confirmation that it is a high probability pivot bottom. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're looking at the front of this chart, you'll notice that this pivot top is in blue, and this pivot bottom here is in blue as well. What that means is that they are high probabilities that they are the tops and bottom pivots, but they're not 100% confirmed. There is no indicator that can give you 100% accuracy at the front of it. We have just high probabilities. So again, I use probabilities and I use other indicators. So with this hollow fire indicator, they have what we call buy and sell tags that I use to add confluence to my decision making. And what I'm looking for here, as we go back in time, I'm looking for a bottom pivot, but I'm waiting for a buy tag to come in. As you notice, there's a buy tag right here. That confirms to me that we might be at the end and it's turning around. So at that point in time, I will enter the trade right at that buy tag. But it's not confirmed that that's going to break out. So I want to protect my capital. So here we always teach people how to use stop losses. So I would set a stop loss just slightly under that bottom pivot. Because if this is a false one, the market comes down, well, it's going to take me out with a relatively small loss as opposed to a big loss. And in this case, I'm looking at a loss of about 7%. So in other words, if I had $100 on this trade, worst case scenario, I'm going to lose about $7. Now, as this trade is in and starts moving upward, what I do is I move my stop loss up to break even. And at this point, if that market were to change and come back down, I'm out with no loss. So I've got a risk-free trade happening. Ultimately, what I'm looking for is for it to get to a pivot top. And once I see a pivot top, that's when I exit the market. And in this case, I would have exited right, about there, and I would have locked in a nice profit here of about 40%. I risk 7 to win 40. So let me just show you how this could play out over and over again. Now, going forward, we would have another pivot bottom here and a buy tag. So I probably would have entered somewhere in that zone. I would have set my stop loss again. And in this case, my stop loss, I would have had a little more risk on this trade, say about 10%. So of $100, I would have had a $10 scenario of risk. And then I would have seen the pivot top, I would have jumped out. And in this case, we would have locked in a nice little profit. In this case, about 15%. And you can see I could do this over and over again in these scenarios. In this case here, we got another pivot bottom, a buy tag. We would have gotten in there. We gotten out about here. That's another 11%. But you notice now the market is trending down. Or back here, we've got a lot of sideways chop. This is when I really don't play the market when I see this kind of thing. I'm waiting for a real trend reversal. So now that we're in this, I would then only be looking at this pivot bottom where I'm getting a buy tag. Here's where I would enter that trade again without any other indicators. Now, when I have the training education, I'd be looking at other indicators for confluence, but just using the one just to show you that it can work fairly well. So again, I'm in this trade. I've got some risk involved. Here we're at, we've got about, again, about 7% risk. And I'm waiting to see what happens going forward. Now, this works extremely well on 2-hour and 4-hour time frames. So if you like to work in that zone, these things work extremely well. Or you can use it also for longer time frames as well. And I mentioned earlier that they also have follow the traders. Well, this tool, along with the training and education you get from the Ultimate Trade course, can be used extremely well with these medium-term trend reports. And I love these reports because, and I'm just going to jump to one here, because what you're looking for is that they do the analysis, a lot of the analysis for you to speed up the time. And they say, okay, this is a good coin that we need to be taking a look at. So they set in some support and resistance zones, like here's a pivot bottom, and then this is a level 1, 2, and 3, and a potential top. And these are all support and resistance zones that they teach us how to utilize. But they also teach us how to use the indicators that we get from the Ultimate Trade course. So we have this detonator A, and when we see the coin moving over this blue bull line, we call it, and moving over the EMA, that's a very bullish signal. So that's the first thing I look at is a bullish signal here, right in this zone. Okay. And then I'm also looking for another bullish signal down in this second indicator, which is a green trigger dot. So I would have set that as another positive. Then I would look down into this zone and look for a crossing of the green coming over this blue line. And so that would all be confluence to me that this would be a good time to enter this trade. So I would have entered this trade, and ironically, utilizing these indicators, I would have gotten out somewhere around the top. When I seen this red dot come in, that tells me it's time to get out. Here, also, this is crossing back down on this indicator, and we've got it turning here. So that would tell me to exit. Now, if I would have followed that trade, we would have got in roughly about, just turn this indicator up. Here, we'd have got out somewhere in this range. I would have locked in a nice little 80% profit. Now, ironically, if we use the HODL Fire tool, it also showed us the pivot bottom, a little early perhaps, but we had extra confluence, and we had a pivot top, which is where we would have gotten out. So you can see how the education and training that BitcoinTAF.com provides really helps us be more successful in the marketplace. And that's why I really highly recommend that you get involved and take a look at all the different training and education you can have here. It is some of the best education in the world, unagendized, and it's there for you. This is the key. These people don't need to be doing the training education. They are super successful at it. They could just be quietly making all the money on their own, but that's not who they are. They're all about helping other human beings throughout the world. And that's the beauty of this. Their integrity is just phenomenal. And the effort and work they put in to help you become successful is truly amazing. That's why I've been with them for so long and enjoy being involved with Bitcoin Training Forecast. It is just an amazing, amazing organization. Now, one last little note. Once you've completed some of the training education and you want to go further, there's even more. We even have the ultimate decentralized finance trading course as well to teach you how to trade and be successful on the decentralized exchanges, because that's the new paradigm that we're going into. So there's constant growth and development in this era. And the more that you can immerse yourself into it now, the more successful you will be going forward. As I said earlier, the industry is changing dramatically. You're seeing the world events exaggerate what's happening for us human beings. We need to be ahead of it. Artificial intelligence, coupled with blockchain technology and robotics, are going to change the world. And in 5 years, I'm predicting you will probably not recognize it. But you could get ahead of it now and get invested in the right things at the right time, and you will be successful. And that's really securing our future is the number one reason we do all this extra work. So it's little like eating an elephant, it's one bite at a time. And the more you immerse yourself into it now, the more successful you're going to be coming out the other side. So I highly recommend that you sign up for free, check out everything we have to offer, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to help answer your questions. And with that, I'd like to thank you for coming on board and listening to me today. And hopefully we'll see you on the other side. Take care. Have a great week.